Guys, we'll start with the show and tell for a quick 10 minutes, right? If you guys have any question, you can ask me while we are walking through. Right, this is a small. You guys are able to hear me?
I should come.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a very small garden, right? So I'll walk you through with, some of the plants I have, and also the the structure I have set up to enable the climbers to vines to grow. Right. So this is just set up for my jasmine wine. This is jasmanium, the pink jasmine, right? And then around the wall, I have some of the eggplants, right? And also the green chilies. So the end part, I have the ridge guard, right? This is just a wine which is on a 4x8 panel. And then next to it, with a gap of about 2 feet, I have the bitter guard. Right, bitter guard is growing crazy, so I had to extend and provide some additional trellis for the bitter gourd to grow. This is another arch trellis support for the Tindora vines. You can see the Tindora vines spread across. The arch itself is about 7 feet high, and we can mostly handpick the Tindora with the help of a step stool, right? It is spread across the entire arch, and you can see the perspective of the Tindora vine across the. Some flowering plants. These are the tropical hibiscus. Providing a background for my water lily setup. So this is the water lily pond, which is about 50 gallon in size, with two colors of water lily and also some fish in them. Then this is another 8 feet by 4 feet of the snake guard, right? And this is one of the herbal plant. Here is another setup of the same kind of arch where the cucumbers are growing. Right, I have multiple plants here. So there are a couple of varieties of cucumber. This is one of the matured cucumber. So if you look at, we'll have like two varieties of cucumber growing here. And there is another variety of cucumber. This is a specialty of Madurai. One of our friend gave us. So this is, so there's one more arch here, right, where I have multiple plants here, right? So we'll start with dosakai, right? So this is on one side I have the dosakai, right? So this is on this half of it, we have dosakai and cucumber plant. On this side, I have half of this is covered with bitter gourd, right? Like you can see the coverage, right? I don't let them grow over each other. I keep trimming them to keep them in their one thing. So this is my other area where we have the tomatoes. The tomato grows on the side, right? And then this is my beetle leaf, sorry, right? So along the trellis, along the fence of the trellis, I grow the tomatoes. So this is the outer side of the bitter gourd plant, right? And here are some of the fruit trees. This is amla, the South Indian variety. I have the this is the tree, and here another trellis where you have the tomatoes growing again. Right. So these are some of the flowering plants. So my curry leaf is overtaken by the squash. Right. These are Indian variety. So I have a couple of them here, and the banana plants are here. Like so, this part I have the pumpkin, the winter melon. Right. Like it has filled up the holder. So this is another 8 feet by 4 feet.
That's ash god, right, Hari?
This is the ashcard, winter melon. Yeah. So this is my main. So this is my drumstick plant on a 35-gallon container. Right? Like so, the container is this size.
வந்து பாருங்க உங்க வீடுக்கு இது காமிக்கிறேன்.
This is my sugar cane.
Arya, I'm not sure we are getting your video.
Okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yep.
So this is the sugar cane.
Wow.
So you can see. So we have this is Kafir lime. It's called Narthangai in Tamil. Right? This is one of the varieties of citrus variety.
Is it going on? It is growing on pot or it's on the ground?
It's in a 14-gallon pot.
Okay.
All tropicals have to be grown on a pot.
Right.
Hello?
Sorry?
Hello?
Yeah.
We had tomatoes this year. So we had tomatoes this year and we planted them in a pot and then we moved it to our larger bed. But it started growing, but it never gave any tomatoes.
Yeah, we will talk about it, right? Like let me finish this video tour and then I will come back to your question little later. Okay? Is that okay? Okay, so this is my mullai plant, right? Like this is a flowering. This is an ever blooming another jasmine. So this is the other side of the arch where you have the two varieties of cucumber growing here. So this is a 3-year-old chili plant, right? Like this gets overwintered inside the house or the garage, right? Like, and this is agati. So these are some of the plants where we have all the jasmines here.
Yeah, those jasmines are hardy, right? And you guys are growing.
Jasmines are root hardy, right? Like when I say root hardy, they are like they'll
They
die
go
down
and
to the
come
ground.
back.
If you put it in if you put it in the ground, they will die down to the ground, and then they from the roots they will grow back again, right? But these are in pots right now.
Okay.
I have some of the plants in the in the flower bed, which are like which grow back after every winter, right? Like, but they are slow to grow. So these are the 3 varieties of Kanakambram or Chrysandra, right? And this is my table where we start our small saplings and then move to the different locations.
All right.
So I make sure I'm able to walk around my garden, right? Like so the entire area is filled up, and what I've done is made sure that I can even walk in between. So all my arches will be above my height, right? Like so that I can walk in between, right? So this is my flat bean or aurakai.
Beans.
It is like a plant.
Right. I also started getting those white flowers.
Okay, this will be our full view from this side, right? Like if you look at this, will be the full view from one side.
Wow. It's like jungle.
Yeah, that's why I tried to keep it walkable at least, right? Like so, this is on the other side, right? Like so. This is another table where we start the saplings before they are transferred to either ground or to bigger pots.
Right.
So this side we have some eggplants. The Okay, so anyone have any questions which I have to answer
Hello?
the tomato question, right? Like I will do that.
Yeah,
Before that, anyone wants
it was
specifically?
like with many tomatoes, chili, and our bell pepper.
Mhm.
They haven't been doing very well. The bell pepper is still hasn't given its first fruit in like 5 months, and it's still and the tomatoes they're determinate tomatoes,
Yeah.
so they've grown to their height and they've stopped, and
Okay.
they've only given 2 tomatoes.
Okay. So tomatoes, right? Like are very aggressive growers, right? Like they grow very widely, and also we have to make sure that they are heavily pruned. So if you look at, for example, right, like this plant, this is one.
The video paused. Hello?
Ari, it seems we lost your connection.
Guys, 1 second. Sorry. Let me switch here. Okay, so if you look at the plant itself, right, like you can see I have pruned this plant completely, right? Anything, once it flowers at one location, you have to remove all the leaves below that, right? So this is how you will start seeing, and it will continue to keep flowering on the tip, right? You see these flowers are still. And one more thing we have to do is, like, whenever you come to near your plants every day morning when you see the flowers, just shake the plant like this, right? That helps speed up the pollination on the tomato plants, right? Like if you look at it, I still have some tomatoes still happening on the plant itself, right? And also they need a lot of regular fertilization, right? During the summer, the plant will growth as well as uh, on the production, right? That is fine as long as you are able to maintain it by doing deep watering and keeping the plant healthy. See this plant, right? Like, so it yielded very well, but it stopped in between because of the 100-degree heat which we got, and then it started flowering again, right? Like you see the flowers everywhere, right? So during the summer, we have to make sure that we keep the plant healthy, right? And also make sure you fertilize the plant with tomato fertilizer, right? Like they need additional calcium and magnesium, right, to support the fruit as well as the growth. Did that answer your question?
Yes, actually, yes. He went to the bathroom, and
Oh, okay.
I'm his mom. But I think I will convey it to him. Thank you so much.
Sure, not a problem.
I have a question. My ash god has flowers, but all are male flowers. I don't have any female flowers. What should I do?
So this is the question which normally comes up with the flowering, right? Like, so this is nature. So you have to wait for it to be healthy enough to produce the female flowers, right? Like, so generally what the plant does is it'll produce the male flowers first, right? Like, because they don't want to waste the female flowers, because they want to make sure the bees are around for cross pollination, right? Like, so every plant you will see, it will uniquely produce that male flower first, and then it will do the female flowers, right? That is a very standard process, right? Like, so what when it is not flowering properly or not flowering enough, which means that either the plant is stressed or the plant is still waiting for it to be stable, right? Like, it's not ready for producing the female fruit, right? Like, if the plant doesn't produce female fruit because it's not healthy enough, right? Like, either it is more you have provided more vegetative growth, or
Vegetative growth.
so you need to make sure that the crossover happens and the plant is able to get the right nutrients to bear the fruit, right? Otherwise, what will happen is, even if it bears the fruit, end of the day, what it cannot hold it, right? And then it will start aborting the flowers, and you will see that those female flowers are dropping without maturing, right? Like, so we have to make sure that those things are all taken care.
Is there anything I need to add to the plant to help it?
What are you fertilizing with?
I just put the tomato fertilizer, the Joe's one, and I had put Epsom salt before.
Epsom salt. Okay, I think the Joe's tomato is a vegetable fertilizer. I think we should be good with that. If you can post a picture in the group of your plant.
Sure, I'll do it.
Like,
because it's very green and very, it's well spread.
How big is it?
How big would it be? About 6 feet by 4 feet. We put the trellis on the wall of the house.
Okay. So because as Ari said, so we also grow ash gourd.
Yeah.
And as Ari said, say if your plant is getting male flowers,
Yes.
it is bound to get a female flower.
Okay.
That's nature.
Okay.
Meaning sooner or later it'll get it,
Thank you
right?
so much, sir. Thank you.
And if you further want to try, you can pluck off couple of growing tips.
Oh, okay.
Let another shoots come out. Basically, I don't know whether you are following all the posts or not. In between, Ari has posted 3G method,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
If
the
you would
button.
have, yeah, if you would have followed that, I think by this time you would have seen couple of at least female flowers. But nonetheless, it is not late because it's just 6 by 4. So you can still plug couple of clip off couple of tips and let new shoots come. New shoots generally come with male and female both.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah, just cutting the tip. What it does is, right, it will put the plant in the panic mode, right? Like that, it is going to die. It will start growing more of the new branches, or it will try to flower, because every plant is bound to establish its own varieties very quickly as much as possible.
More spray பண்ணுங்க.
So when you put the plant in panic mode, it will start branching out, right? Because it cannot grow further in that same branch. So Bhavesh suggested, just I would suggest, like, if you have long branches, long vines, clip them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, we will, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, guys. I have a question too.
Mhm.
So I have the 3 eggplant plants. They are pretty big. They have lots of flowers. I've been doing the same thing, the Job organic fertilizer, and I've also been doing the liquid fertilizer too. What is
Fish fertilizer.
the Medina liquid fertilizer too, alternating.
Oh,
And they have like plenty of flowers. And I've been doing the hand pollination with the electric toothbrush, seeing the same video technique. But for some reason, all the flowers keep falling. I mean, so far, like I haven't even had a single eggplant. I don't know if I'm missing something. I've been pruning the leaves from the bottom too. Is there
okay.
anything else that I
So,
should be doing?
generally the plant will slow down during the peak of heat, right? Like during the summer, they generally slow down, right? Like so when the temperature goes above 95, you will start seeing them slowing down. So that's a general like any plant gets stressed, and it will slow down on the produce, right? Like as long as you are watering it adequately. So during the summer, you have to do. At the same time, like you will also see the produce has slowed down. But it is surprising that you are saying that you have not seen a single eggplant, right? Like that's really surprising. I don't know why that should happen,
That's
but
why I'm so confused, because I got the plants from Home Depot. Even
okay.
right now, I'm putting in front of my plants, like I'm seeing like at least 10 flowers in each plant. But
Okay, do one thing, right? Like you have buttermilk at home,
I do.
right? Like dilute it and keep it out for a couple of days. Let it become sour,
Okay.
right? And then spray this diluted buttermilk maybe a couple of days and see if that is encouraging the thing. The other thing, the plant drop flowers if it's stressed by bugs or insects. It like if you check the other side of the leaves, see if there are any insects, right? Like so that may also be a problem that the plant is spotting the flowers.
I have a lot of grasshoppers. Could that be a problem?
Grasshoppers are okay, but there will be like small bugs like flies or aphids, right?
Oh,
Those can, even though they are very very tiny, right? Like you will not see them, but it's very hard to see, but they will be like touching the plant a lot. So
okay.
what you can do is you are watering, try to water the plant and see if that is away from your plant, and also look at below the leaves, specifically you have to watching. So mostly what happens is the insects you will see increase in number after the rain, right? Like so, mid July I think we had for a day, I think, right? After that
Right.
you will see some increase in the
And the sour buttermilk, how much should I add to the roots, or should I spray it on the leaf?
you have to spray, right? Like because they are foliar, you have to dilute it and spray. Don't make sure that the white layer stick up on the right. It has to be diluted,
Okay. All right. Thank
but
you.
it has to be covered.
Okay. All right.
Try that for a couple of weeks, right? Like do it couple of days, then do it every. You can do it one time and see if that the plan.
Okay. Thank you.
Ari,
Yes, sir.
this is Sri. I have something to add on to this one. The buttermilk. How sour the buttermilk? Here, what we do, how sour, if you keep it outside for 2 days, if you immerse your hand, and even after immersing your hand, if you take it out and if you smell it, you can still smell the soreness. Because normally everywhere the temperatures are different, right? Here in Northern California and even in Austin, we have this difference. So what we do, the soreness has been determined, like after you immerse your hand, you can still smell the soreness in your hand. And then I would also recommend, at least for one plant, to try out a hing powder, like a teaspoon of hing powder added to that sour buttermilk. Again, dilute it more. And then what is the amount of hing? You should smell the hing in that sour buttermilk.
Okay.
Right. So two things happen here, right? Like when you are sprinkling the sour milk, sour buttermilk, it provides acidity to the plant, which the most tropical plants like it.
Yes.
As well as things, right? Like it will start. It should not be a rotten smell, but it will stink like a sour stink, right? Like, so bugs will have a problem. They move away.
Exactly. And then the another reason why they wanted to sprinkle this buttermilk is that, the buttermilk sourness, that acidity, as well as the hing, they all have some property which in an indirect way of giving there is a thing called gibberellic. It is a thing that makes the flowers, female flowers, to come out. It is just forcing the flowers to produce.
Is that something that we can use only on eggplant or for all plants?
All tropical plants, you can try. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And does it matter if I spray it on the underside of the leaves or the top of the leaves? I've never done that before.
See, that's your luxury, right? You can spray it underside of leaves. That is also okay. But generally, it's sprayed on the leaves, right? Like, but that's as long as you are able to spray it on both sides, it will help disturb the bugs they're sitting there, right? That's also fine.
Okay, thank you so much, guys.
Hey, Ari, I have a question to Suresh.
Yes, Suresh.
Yeah, so generally, basic thumb rule, like I've been removing the suckers from tomato plants, but it's a basic thumb rule that I can remove suckers for any plant, right? Because I see even in the okra plants, the eggplant, every plant has a sucker leaf in between the nodes. So is that okay if I apply the same rule for all plants, or is just for tomato plants we use those sucker technique to for the growth?
Yeah, generally pruning is a good habit to keep airflow as well as light to pass through, right? And the more the bigger the plant, it means that you have more vegetative growth, right? And then it has to focus energy on the vegetative growth and holding those leaves and stems, right? So generally, good to prune and keep the plant in a maintained, right? Like, but you don't do pruning other plants just like what you do for tomato, right? Tomato, the more the suckers you see, it brings the energy, and you not see the flowers, the fruit yield, or it may not even produce flowers, right? Like in the sense, like if you leave a plant unpruned, a tomato plant unpruned, it can grow like a big bush, right? Like creating too much of
So much of side stems, and the side
rice,
stems are also very strong. Yeah.
right? Like so, it will start stopping the energy from move to the fruits production. Whereas on the other plants, for example, the eggplant, right? Like you can do a two-stem process, because once they start growing, they'll start branching out like a bush. Right? Like it's very hard to control an eggplant again. And the same thing with chilies, right? Like don't do sucker pruning, right? Like
Right.
you need
Right.
to do a tip pruning. The more you encourage tip pruning, it will branch out and it will produce more flowers on those. Go ahead, Boris. Right?
Yeah, you're right. So Suresh, I think with okra, it's okay. You can prune it, meaning not prune it, but you can remove the suckers. But plants like eggplant and chilies and peppers and all, you can rather prune the tip of it to grow, to allow suckers to grow more. Let them be bushy and they'll produce more.
I see. But the pepper plant, I first tried the tip pruning, meaning I just removed the small tips. I
Right.
see the cluttered leaves on that where I removed the tip. I see a lot of cluttered leaves, but I also see suckers in between. But either way, it's not producing. It's green and nice, flushy, but hardly I see the fruits coming out. So I don't know what I have to use it. I use general all-purpose fertilizers, organic. I do everything I can, but the plant is really healthy and good, but it's not really producing the way it looks healthy and thing, but it's not really producing. So I have tried
The
tip pruning and also the suckers. So I don't know.
the paper?
Yeah, the bell peppers.
Paper will take time. This is
Okay.
like
I mean,
we are touching 100 degrees. So let it get little cooler, and it will start once again. Meaning, I can guarantee you will get plenty of paper if your paper plant is really vigorous. You will get like plenty of them
okay.
as the temperature goes a little down.
Yeah, reduce
Is it?
any nitrogen-based fertilizers you are keep providing them, right? Like if you have been doing some aggressive nitrogen-based fertilizer, reduce it, and once you tip prune, put it in shop, it will start flowering.
Can I show you guys? I'm just sitting next to the plant.
Yeah, that'll help. That'll help.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, we have another 5 minutes to go on this call, right? At the end, maybe we can come back to the same bridge again.
Okay.
You see my, I can see like one or two buds coming out, but if you see the overall plant is like, I have two plants. I just tried some, but anyway, this plant is really healthy. But if you see, the clutters are right here, right in
Yeah,
this.
wherever you're holding, Suresh, just do a cut there.
Here.
Yeah, wherever you're holding, and you can see it can branch out two more, right? Just cut that area, so you'll see more branches.
So, but I have to, this is the main stem, right? This is the main stem, so I have to preserve this.
For this plant, it's even too tall to be like that. Right? Like
Yeah, but if you see the way it has branched out, it's three branches came out of the main stem. So
Correct.
that's the issue. Though I cannot even, I don't know where to cut, so I just let it go. But
no,
I see some buds.
cut it about 6 inches from that location, right? Like then it will start branching out like a bush.
Okay.
Right.
But I do
Next
see
year,
something coming up, so probably.
Yeah, if you're planning to move this indoors, where about 1 feet high, just cut that plant.
Okay.
Suresh, one more thing I can see. Is it growing in the pot?
Yeah, because this was a seed. I tried from last year. Somebody, I was not sure whether it's going to come, so I put in a pot, but it's still grew very well, surprisingly. So, but I
Yeah, it
have
is
to.
growing great. It's growing great. The only thing I can think little further is generally we put this plants into black color plastic pots
Uh-huh.
that attracts a lot of heat, and
Okay,
that also impacts sometimes negatively.
I see.
So
Okay,
if you have some space, try to move it. I think you can still move it inside the ground or something.
okay. And one last question before I know
Try
it's
the
time is
buttermilk on this plant also, Suresh.
Yeah.
okay. Buttermilk and also the okra. I did prune okra watching some videos, but after that it started growing so tall and thinning of leaves. But I do see flowers and okra coming up, but the leaves are not really that healthy and spreading. It's just going tall and tall. If you see this, it just grew
That's
out of.
the nature of okra. And they will start only flowering and new leaves and new right. Like so, anything below that you can just clean it up and I have
So
seen
if you see,
okra growing 10,
if you
12
see
feet.
should I remove this leaf because I think it's spending energy on this leaf too. So
Not on that leaf, right? If you harvest the okra, then you remove it because that is
okay,
the support for that okra.
Right.
okay,
The one
okay.
below that, right? Like you can remove that leaf.
This one.
Yeah, that one can be.
Okay, okay. All right, guys. Thank you.
We may end in 1 minute. If I still have any question, maybe we can jump again and we.
I had a quick question. This is Ranjini. For like things like dosakai or ashgord, after the first fruits come, are you harvested? Do they fruit again, or the flowers come back on those plants again? Because I try. I mean, I've harvested a couple of them, and after that, I don't see any new flowers or
No, no,
anything
new
like that.
flowers come from new wine and new nodes, right? Like as the wine starts and it'll produce flowers only on the new nodes, not on the existing place where you removed the node.
So if I cut the tip, then basically you're saying the new vines will form from it, and that is the one that will generate flowers and fruits.
Yeah, that is one way. But generally, whenever you see a fruit, and then the plant will still continue to grow, right? The vine
Correct.
will continue to grow. The flowers will come up only on the new nodes which are coming up, right? Like